All right, Middle-Aged White Guy Reacts is back again today with another video, and this time we have something a little different, but not really, okay? We've done Tom MacDonald Spoken Words before on this channel. I think there's only one or two that I haven't done. This is not on his YouTube page, though. This came up in my feed from a different channel, and I never like to use songs that are outside of the artist's channels, okay? It's like Tom MacDonald has CDs out there that people rip the songs off of and then put them on YouTube. And it's like he wasn't necessarily giving those songs out for free, okay? So this isn't on his page, but he posted this on Facebook. I did research to try to find where it came from. It came from his Facebook page. So that's where we're on. That'll be linked in the description. But this is Screens. This is Spoken Word, Tom MacDonald. So let's get right into this.
Don't worry so much about Kanye's Twitter, Cardi B's baby, or what Drake eats for dinner. That is distractions.
Yeah.
The laws of attraction won't work if you're concerned with how the next man is acting. That is.
The laws of attraction won't work if you're worried about how the next man is acting. Saying, you know, don't worry about what these people do. Don't worry about what other people do. The Drakes, the Cardi B's, or even your next door neighbor. All right? Worry about yourself. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses, okay? You be your own Jones. Be your own Jones. Let's go, Tom.
Won't work if you're concerned with how the next man is acting. That is facts.
That is
You
facts.
can manifest your destiny. One thought is all it takes to change your whole life's trajectory.
And that that is true as well. That's pretty deep there. You know, like I've said it on this channel several times, because he makes mention to this, and other artists do. You have to manifest your own destiny. You have to speak it into existence, okay? If you don't believe in yourself, if you have no belief in yourself and the heights that you can accomplish, you're never going to get there, because nobody else is going to believe in you, okay? And even if other people do believe in you, and if you don't believe in yourself, you're never going to have the confidence to make the proper moves to get yourself where you need to go. So, I mean, that's spot on again, Tom. Man is full of wisdom. The man is just absolutely full of wisdom.
It takes to change your whole life's trajectory. I'm not religious, but the Bible is full of many hidden recipes. Prayer is just a word they use to demonstrate effectively. The power of our thoughts create reality collectively. They're just messing up the messaging.
Hold on, let me hear that again. That's deep right there.
Word they use to demonstrate effectively. The power of our thoughts create reality collectively.
Power of our thoughts create reality effectively. Okay? If society is healthy and happy, collectively, we'll be living in a happy, healthy society. If society is distracted, divided, angry, where are we going to be living? In a distracted, divided, angry society. Okay, that's exactly right. You know, it's like collectively, our collective mental health shapes the world around us. Absolutely.
Of our thoughts create reality collectively. They're just messing up the messaging. And if you concentrate on good, then you receive good successfully.
Wow.
It's called fate.
Wow.
Fate is something that is meant to be. It happens because you make it so. It's never accidentally.
Okay. He's getting freaking deep, man. And like, you know, we've done Tom plenty on this channel, so I know this is, you know, this is his MO here, but like, damn, let's hear that one more time. Hold on.
That's called fate.
Okay, well, a little bit
Fate
before
is
that.
Concentrate on good, then you receive good successfully.
If you concentrate on good, then you receive good successfully. Okay? A lot of times it's all how you look at things, too. You know, if you're looking at all the negative and the bad things about a given situation, you won't see the good things. You won't see the point of going through that struggle, or, you know, what you can actually take out of that to better yourself. So if you're focusing on the negative and the bad, that's what you're going to bring to the forefront, okay? And all the good stuff will kind of fall behind that, and you'll have this wall of bad in front of you. You know, you need to look at these situations that you're in, and sometimes it's hard. But you got to take either the lesson that you're supposed to be learning or that you can learn from it. You know, it's kind of like, you know, the easiest example. we've all had plenty of relationships, I'm sure, okay? So think about all the relationships you had. Some of them ended bad. Some of them, mistakes were made. Some of them just didn't work out. More than likely, though, you have taken something from every single one of those relationships and applied it to the next one. And eventually, hopefully, if you were lucky enough, maybe you found somebody that you could spend the rest of your life with. And you have learned so much previous to that person that you can have a happy, healthy relationship moving forward with them. It's just like you can look at all those relationships and all the bad shit that happened, or you can take the lessons that you've learned and the things that worked and the good things about those relationships, and you can apply them to your next one. Okay, that's the easiest example I can come up with off the top of my head, but that's exactly what he's saying here, though, is no matter what, look at the good. Focus on the good, because then you'll bring the good stuff to the forefront. And the rest of that will kind of, will be kind of in the background.
That's called fate. Fate is something that is meant to be. It happens because you make it so. It's never accidentally.
Yes.
Physical strength.
Good things don't happen out of nowhere. I mean, yeah, every now and again, but most of the time, you got to make that stuff happen yourself, man. And like I said, you're in a bad mind state, more than likely good things aren't going to happen to you. Or if they do, you're not going to be able to recognize them when they do.
So it's never accidentally. Physical strength don't matter if you're not strong mentally.
Oh.
You can move a boulder with your muscles, but you can move a mountain with your energy. Don't spend it.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Muscles, but you can move a mountain
Hold
with
on.
your energy. Don't matter if you're not strong mentally.
Physical strength don't matter if you're not strong mentally. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, mental strength is way more important in your everyday existence than physical strength. How many times in your day are you faced with a challenge that you have to overcome with physical strength? Maybe a couple. I mean, there might be a box you need to move or something you need to pick up off the floor. But really, think about how many times in a day that an obstacle has to be overcome with your mental strength. Well, like constantly. As soon as my kids wake up and, or start jumping off the walls, I need to be strong mentally, not to flip out, and just sometimes. But it's you need to be able to handle things from a mental standpoint much more often than you have to handle things from a physical standpoint. Physical strength is important. Don't get me wrong. Your physical health, shape, all that is important. Your mental health and your mental strength, though, is 100 times more important than any physical strength or muscle that you have in your body.
Physical strength don't matter if you're not strong mentally. You can move a boulder with your muscles, but you can move a mountain with your energy. Don't spend it on your enemies.
No.
Eventually, that'll kill you.
Yeah.
Remember, you were young.
And he probably knows. He probably knows. This man has been hit with hate 6 ways to Sunday ever since he started dropping controversial songs. So he knows full well, and he probably spent some time dealing with the enemies. And then eventually, he'll just ignore them, and then every 6 months drop a song and just crushes them with it, Don't Look Down, No Response, I'm Sorry, This House, every 6 months we get that kind of song from this guy. But yeah, and I've had to deal with that just a touch, This is a small channel. I don't get a ton of hate. It happens. And sometimes it's so hard to just bite your tongue, because it's like, what is there to gain from responding back to this? What is there to gain? All it's going to do is get me into a back and forth, and I'm going to waste way more time and energy that this person or this comment is worth. So, it's a hard thing to do sometimes, but it's absolutely, do not waste your time on haters and your enemies and, things that aren't productive for you. I'd rather take time commenting to somebody who isn't mean and nasty. I mean, I don't mind criticism and responding to criticism as long as it's constructive, but once it gets to that, crosses that barrier into mean, nasty, just trolling, there's no point. There's absolutely no point.
Remember, you were young once, before you experienced failure, before your confidence was crushed from all the people you're compared to.
Ugh.
When you were...
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna let him go on this part. I think he's about to get real deep here. Hold on.
All the people you're compared to. When you were a kid, you were powerful. There wasn't to scare you.
No,
And
no,
they
no.
beat you down and broke you up and blinded you and buried you. But the dream is still alive.
Talking about as a child, you're naive to how this world actually works. Okay, so there's nothing that really scares you as a child. I mean, it scares you in the sense as like how it would scare adults. Yeah, you're gonna be scared of clowns or boogeymen or whatever, but you're not scared of politics and taxes and working and death and like stuff like that. So once you kind of get into this real world and you realize this isn't the fairy tale you have grown up believing it was, it's soul crushing sometimes, and that's why I try to tell my kids all the time, just be kids, because once you're an adult, there's no going back. Once you understand how this world works, you can't put it back in the toothpaste tube. All right, it's just you have to live with that and deal with it, and that's exactly right.
Broke you up and blinded you and buried you. But the dream is still alive and that power is still inside you. You need to rewrite the code and reroute the light to find you. We're too heavily invested in steadily flexing. It don't matter if you're sad, if you got Hennessy in a necklace.
Oh, we're too busy steadily flexing. It doesn't matter as long as you have. It doesn't matter if you're sad as long as you have Hennessy in a necklace. Saying that a lot of people believe that the material things in this world is what actually makes them happy. So as long it doesn't matter if they're sad. As long as they can show off to the rest of the world and say, look at this chain, look at this house, look at this whip, you think you're happy. And I've said it. I've said it on this channel 100 times. If you watch me, you've heard it. Money does not make you happy. It makes things maybe a little less complicated or sometimes maybe a little more complicated. Happiness, though, is not bought with money. No, not at all. Oop, here we go. Come on.
Matter if you're sad, if you got Hennessy in a necklace. We're never looking inward. Instead, we look out at projections of what they told us is cool by the subliminal messages.
We're not looking inward, we're looking out. What do we want to emulate? What section of society are we going to emulate, essentially? What are they wearing? That's what I want to wear. What are they doing? How are they moving? What are they saying? Because you want to project coolness and you want to fit in, all right? That stuff is not something that you can grab from the outside and have it be really you. You need to look inward to yourself. That's beautiful, Tom.
Cool by the subliminal messages. Look in the mirror. That ain't you, dog.
Yeah.
That's a manufactured persona.
That
you subconsciously adopted from pop culture and products.
Wow.
But they sold you with the promise of joy. They wasn't honest.
Sold you with the promise of joy. Like I said, the material things, man, and they're not going to make you happy. They're not. They're nice. They're nice. Everybody wants a big TV. Everyone wants a nice fast car in the driveway or a big luxury vehicle or whatever. They want a huge house. We all want that stuff to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, none of it makes you happy. Okay? And I can't stress that enough. The material things, like I said, I've been broke. I've had money. I've been broke again and have money and then been broke again. And it sucks. Okay, there's certain things that suck, but my overall happiness, my mental health has never been affected by that stuff. So even having money hasn't made me happier. Being broke hasn't really made me any less happy. Maybe a little bit more stressed about where the money's coming from for bills and food, but that's not happiness or sadness. It's just stress.
Culture and products. That they sold you with the promise of joy. They wasn't honest, and I don't blame you for hoping it was true when you bought it. But the majority of people aren't as dumb as they seem.
Nope.
If you aren't addicted to drugs, then you're addicted to screens. I mean, look at you right now. I mean, look at me.
Fuck you, Tom. Fuck you, Tom. Don't be telling me that stuff. I'm just joking. No, that's let me let him finish this point. So I'm reading what he's about to say. So let me let him finish this point, and then we'll go back to this.
Look at you right now. I mean, look at me. We're both staring at our phones. I just hope you like what you see.
Ugh. We're both staring at phones. I hope you like what you see. And it's true. It's true, and we're all guilty of it. We all have our cell phones, and like I tell my kids back in the day, because, they have their iPads and they play their little games and go on their YouTube Kids and stuff. And sometimes it's hard to get them off that stuff. You know, we try to limit it. We try to monitor how long they're on it. We don't just want, you know, iPad babysitters or television babysitters for our kids. And sometimes it's a challenge getting them off their iPads if they're like deep into a game or, you know, or video or something like that. And like I've explained to them before, you know, I love video games. I've been playing, you know, Atari since I was 3 years old or less, and got the Nintendo and the Sega Genesis and the PlayStation 2, the Xboxes, you know, I've done them all. I've seen the whole progression of video games, and I still to this day love them. If I did not have 4 kids and a bunch of responsibilities as an adult, I would spend a majority of my days playing video games, no doubt. But I tell them all the time, even when we were kids, man, that was never the first choice. You know, we had our neighborhood friends. We would call each other in the morning and let's go meet in the woods. Let's get our bikes and go ride to the ice cream store. Let's do this. Let's do something outside. Video games only came into play when it was a shitty day or raining or it was nighttime. Then we'd get together and we'd play some video games, but it was never our first choice, even though we all loved them. And today it's so much easier, especially with all like, you know, because you used to have to like take up the family TV if you wanted to play video games. You know, there wasn't a little handheld device. I mean, there was, but you know, in the sense of video games, like playing with your friends, there wasn't, you know, necessarily devices that you were playing, you know, in your hand. And yes, I know there was Game Boy and stuff like that, but that's kind of not what I'm talking about. So there was a lot less opportunity to like silently sit by yourself with a screen. Okay. Because, you know, your dad wanted to watch the baseball game and you had 1 or 2 TVs in the house. You weren't using that TV to play video games on at that time. Guarantee you that. So, you know, that's, you know, like I said, I'm guilty of it anymore. You know, my phone's always on me and you're always looking down at that damn screen, even if it's just briefly, even if it's just, you know, and I might, even if I check the time, if I'm just looking at my phone to see what time it is, I might jump into my YouTube studio and see if there's any new comments or subscribers or anything like that. Like it's just it's quick and easy. You just do it right there. But, yeah, it's definitely not good. It's not good. It's not good for these kids. It's not great for society to be addicted to screens. We're losing how to communicate with each other face to face. Look at all the communication anymore. Most of it's text message. How many times have you texted somebody something and they haven't understood the context because they weren't there to hear you say it or look at your expression when you said it? Because most of our communication is not based on the words we say. It's how we say it. It's the inflection in our voices. It's our tone. It's our mannerisms. Most of our communication is nonverbal. And a few generations from now, what's our communication face to face going to be like when we're all so used to just looking at these screens? You know, that's some heavy stuff there, Tom. That's some heavy stuff. All right, though, that should do it. That'll be the reaction. Middle-aged white guy reacts is out. Peace.